Hi, hello. Welcome back again to our chemistry session for 10th class. That is carbon and its compounds. So, lecture 2. Yesterday, we discussed valence of different elements and practiced writing of some dot structures for some molecules. So, we will continue practicing for some more compounds. Then we will move on to different topics of this carbon and its compounds. So, yesterday I gave the work in the last class, in the previous class. Can you write I asked you to write the structure of CH4. How to write? Always think about valence of different elements present in the molecule. Here, carbon. There are two elements involved. One is carbon, valence is equal to 4. Hydrogen, valence is equal to 1. Means carbon should have 4 bonds around it, while hydrogen should have only 1 bond around it. Okay. So, how to write? Let us take a carbon. If we take carbon, what is its dot structure? 4 valence electrons for carbon. And if you look at the hydrogen, hydrogen is having only 1 valence electron. How many such hydrogens are there? 4 such hydrogens are there. So, keep all those 4 hydrogens around carbon. Okay. So, what is the thought process? Carbon, valence 4 means there should be 4 bonds around carbon. There should be 4 bonds around carbon. So, 4 electrons should be shared. Therefore, forms 4 covalent bonds. This is the thought process. Okay. So, there are 4 valence electrons as well. Therefore, this electron is going to share with this hydrogen. This electron is going to share with this hydrogen. This electron is going to share with this hydrogen. This hydrogen is going to share with this electron. So, if you try to draw the structure of this compound, it's going to be like look like carbon, and it is surrounded by 4 hydrogens. So, how it would be? It would be like C, H, 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 H. I wrote a specific pattern of bonds around the carbon. The specific pattern is tetrahedron. This is methane, tetrahedral structure. Okay. So, these 2 electrons belongs to this hydrogen. These 2 electrons belongs to this hydrogen. These 2 electrons also belongs to this hydrogen. These 2 electrons also belongs to this hydrogen. But all these 8 electrons are the part of carbon also. So, in that way, carbon is attaining its octet. Octet of carbon is satisfied and a duplet of hydrogen is satisfied. So, we will able to satisfy the stability configuration, that is octet for carbon while duplet for hydrogen is satisfied. Okay. Next, we will try some more. What is that, some more? Can you write the structure of C2H2? Can you write the structure of C2H2? Sir, how can you write? If you ask like that, you are not using your brain at all. C2H2, how many carbons are there? There are, in this structure, there are 2 carbons. There are 2 carbons. 2 carbons, valence 4 for each carbon, and only 2 hydrogens are there for 4 carbons. Valence is equal to how much? 1. In the previous structure, that is methane, each carbon is having how many? 4 hydrogens. In the methane, carbon is having 4 hydrogens. But means per each carbon, if we think there should be 4 hydrogens, there are 2 carbons, there should be 8 hydrogens. That is a wrong thinking. Okay, because carbon can form single bonds, double bonds, and triple bonds with itself also. So, I don't think per each carbon there should be 4 hydrogens, but always remember there should be 4 bonds around each and every carbon that you are representing in a compound. So, let us work upon. Let us take randomly try to write the structures. Let us say somebody wrote like this: CCHH. Valence of carbons are not satisfied while valence of hydrogens are satisfied. Somebody may try like this: C double bond C, hydrogen. Valence of carbon is satisfied. This carbon is satisfied, but what about this carbon? Valence for this carbon is not satisfied. Somebody may try like this: C double bond C, H. Both are same. These 2 structures are same. Then somebody may try like this: since there should be 4 bonds around each carbon, somebody may put other 2 bonds, means a total 3 bonds in between carbons. Then you will get a satisfactory structure for C2H2. This is called acetylene or ethine. So, this is the correct structure. How to write? How do you arrive at that structure? First of all, whenever more than 1 carbon is there, write this skeleton structure: carbon, okay, 4 valence electrons, and hydrogens, 1 valence electron each. Okay, then these two carbons are going to share one electron each. If they share one electron each, what is happening here? If they share one electron each, the octets of carbon is not satisfied. Count the electrons per each carbon. These two electrons the part of this carbon. These two electrons are also part of this carbon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 electrons are there around each carbon. So octet is not satisfied. So still how many bonds are required? Already one bond is there between carbon and carbon. Hydrogen cannot form more than one bond. So you cannot keep hydrogen. So you cannot keep more than 2 electrons between hydrogen and carbon. So you cannot share these remaining electrons with hydrogens. The only remaining partner is carbon. How many electrons are there? 2 electrons are there. How many bonds are required by carbon? 2 bonds are required by carbon. If one bond has to be formed, 1 electron has to be shared. If 2 bonds has to be formed, 2 electrons has to be shared. If 3 bonds has to be formed, 3 electrons should be shared. So in that sense, this electron is going to be shared with other carbon. This is giving rise to one other additional bond, and these 2 electrons are shared between each other. So finally you are going to get a structure in this manner. So you can write this as C triple bond C H H. Okay. So in our previous class discussion, what we told, if more than one bond is there between any 2 atoms, one bond should be sigma and remaining bonds should be pi bonds. Okay, this drawing of structures is going to be the part of intuition as well as practice. Without practice you will not get nothing. So you have to practice. So these are the some writing of structures practice. Today we are going to start versatile nature of carbon. Carbon is the very much important because it is forming most of the body parts. Most of the animal body is made up of carbon, and the chemistry which deals with the carbon and its compounds is called as organic chemistry. Organic chemistry deals with the compounds of carbon with hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, etc. Means carbon should combine with hydrogen. Then only you can call that compound as organic compound. Like if there is no hydrogen in the carbon compound, it is not an organic compound, remember. So let's move on to the next topic, versatile nature of carbon. What is versatile nature of carbon? That is diverse nature, elaborate nature of carbon. Diverse or elaborate or versatile nature of carbon means carbon is going to form many compounds. Yesterday we have seen in the last class, so many compounds we are utilizing are made up of carbon for the human purposes. Carbon and its versatile nature. Carbon and versatile nature. Carbon is a diverse nature element. Diverse nature element. it can form so many compounds. That's why the carbon is called as having versatile nature or diverse nature or elaborate nature. This versatile nature, the versatile nature of carbon is due to one reason is catenation property. What is catenation property? Give examples. The tendency of an element to form self linkages, means linkage with its own atoms, is called as catenation property. Beyond carbon means greater than carbon, there is no other element in the periodic table would exhibit highest catenation property. So in all 118 elements present in the periodic table, carbon is the only element which is going to exhibit highest catenation property. What is the formation of self linkage? See, carbon can link with other carbon by virtue of single bonds or double bonds or triple bonds. Okay, by formation of single bonds, carbon is going to link to infinite number of carbons. We are reading polythene, C, so on. It is going to link and it is going to form long chains by forming linkages with its own atoms. So this linkaging property with its own atoms is called as catenation property. It can link to many other carbons. Okay, so we have seen the accident in Vizag, that is what you can call a styrene, polystyrene. Polystyrene is one of the polymer. It is going to contain many self linkages of carbon and carbon. It is one of the polythene. You are looking at polythene bags. That polythene bag contains so many carbons linked in a straight chain fashion. Some are linked in a branches. Okay. Then what is the second property? The second property is, what is the second property? The second property is tetravalent nature. Okay, the reasons being for the versatile nature of carbon is, one is catenation property and the other is only I told tetravalent nature. Tetravalent nature means the capacity of carbon. Tetravalent nature means the capacity of a carbon to form 4 bonds is the main reason for the formation of enormous amounts of compounds, enormous different types of compounds. That is tetravalent nature means capacity to form 4 bonds. The capacity of this carbon to form 4 bonds is making the carbon to form different varieties of compounds by combining with other elements like oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, etc. due to tetravalent nature, due to capacity of forming 4 bonds, carbon can combine with other elements like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, etc. So when it is combining with other elements like carbon, that is hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, along with its own compounds, with its own elements, it is able to form many different types of compounds which we are using in our daily life. Okay. So these are the reasons for versatile nature of carbon. So they may ask, give the reasons for versatile nature of carbon in the CBSE examination. So you have to remember this one. Or what is a catenation? Define catenation. Give one example. So other than carbon, sulfur is also going to form or so going to exhibit a catenation tendency, but the catenation tendency in sulfur is very much less than this carbon. Okay guys, so this is the topic regarding versatile nature of carbon. Then the next one we are going to discuss in line is allotropes. Allotropes of carbon. Allotropes of carbon. You are using diamond, you are using a graphite, that is pencil lead, you are using coal, you are using a coconut charcoal used by the goldsmiths to melt the gold. So there are many different physical forms with the different physical properties. Diamond is very hard, rock hard, it can drill into the rocks, while graphite is very smooth, it is going to break when you break. So there are many different physical forms of a single element, but having different physical properties, but with the same chemical properties. Whether you burn carbon, whether you burn diamond, whether you burn coal, whether you burn charcoal, whether you burn Buckminster fullerenes, you are going to get the end product is carbon dioxide. So allotropes of carbon, the different physical forms of an element with different physical properties are called as allotropes, and the tendency is known as allotropy. The different physical forms of an element with different physical properties is known as allotropes of carbon. Allotropes of carbon. So for example, if we take carbon if you look at, it is existing as diamond, it is existing as graphite, it is existing as fullerenes, carbon 60 means if you take one molecule there would be 60 carbons, and other forms you can have coal, charcoal. These are different physical forms of carbon with the different physical properties. Always remember, diamond, if you look at, it's a very hard, diamond hard. People would take very hard, complex 3D structure, 3D structure where each carbon is surrounded by 4 other carbons. But if you take a graphite, very smooth, layered structure, and a very slippery surface. Fullerenes are man-made compounds. So a graphite simply can cut with a knife, but diamond is going to cut the knife. That is the basic difference between graphite and diamond. So this tendency of this carbon to exist in different physical forms with different physical properties, but same chemical properties. Remember, allotropes are going to have same chemical properties, but the physical properties are different. Physical properties means density is going to be different. Okay, their compressibility, melting point, boiling point, these are going to be different. In the first chapter is physical properties and chemical properties. In chemical properties, you are going to get a new compound. When diamond is burnt, when graphite is burnt, when fullerenes are burnt, coal is burnt, charcoal is burnt, you are going to get the end product is carbon dioxide. But when you press diamond, graphite, fullerenes, coal, charcoal, they are going to give different forms. If you take a sample of substance of same mass, the density is going to be different for all these compounds. So such type of compounds of same element with different physical forms and different physical properties, they are going to be called as allotropes. Okay. Other than this carbon, phosphorus is exhibiting allotropism. Red phosphorus, white phosphorus, yellow phosphorus, grey phosphorus, like that. Sulfur, rhombic sulfur, monoclinic sulfur, we are using in matchsticks. Phosphorus also we are using in matchsticks. Okay, fireworks. Okay, these are different topics about carbon. Okay, so we'll continue other parts of this carbon and its compound in the next class. Thank you. Have a good day.